Hi everybody, my name is Bonnie Utter with Modern Music Studio, and today I'm going to do a quick lesson about the circle of fifths. Not only how to memorize it, keep it in your noggin, but also how to use it for different things in music. So let's get started. Our circle of fifths is just exactly what it sounds like. It's working around in fifths, and it starts at the top with a C. A lot of things in music, the patterns kind of work around C, as I'm sure you know. And this way we're going to start going this direction and just count up a fifth, which is 7 half steps. So if you start on C, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our next one is going to be G. You can keep going in that way, starting at G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next one's going to be D, so on and so forth, all the way around. You have A is next, and then E, and after that is B, and F sharp. This one's a little tricky because if you count the half steps from B, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, F sharp. You're going to land there. And if you go this way, you're going to count down half steps, down 7 half steps. From C, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First one is F, and then we go on to B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. So that is one way to remember your circle of fifths there. Another way, I like to use mnemonic devices a lot of the time, and when I'm trying to memorize things, you can come up with your own to help it stick in your head, but I like to do cows graze down around every barn farm, and cows find beads. So that's just a fun way to memorize that as well. And now, outside of just knowing what it looks like, it's important to know also how to use it. So there's 3 different ways that you can think about the circle of fifths. The first way is as notes, as if each of these is individual notes. The second way is as if each of these are a chord. And the third way, and I think the most useful way, is to think of them as keys. So if we're thinking of them as notes, how that can be helpful, write notes here. Notes. Say we're trying to build a chord. Say we're trying to build a C major chord. We know obviously it's going to start with C, but there's 2 mystery notes. How do we know? If you know the typical chord structure is 1, 3, 5. A third up from C is going to be E, so that one's pretty easy to find out, but that fifth is pretty far away from C, right? But if you know your circle of fifths, then you can just know that G is the 5th note in the C major scale, and there you have your C major chord right there. If you want to get a little more complicated with it, let's say we want to make an A flat major 7 chord. That is it's a 4-note chord. So obviously we have, I'm going to grab my eraser. Obviously, again, our root note, it's in the name there, it's going to be A flat. Our third up from A flat. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Yep, all right. I'm going to start the second chord over. We can say next you want to get a little more complicated, and we want to make an A flat major 7 chord. It's a 4-note chord. So obviously our root's in the name. It's going to be A flat. The third from A flat is C. Next, if we look up at A flat, our 5th is going to be an E flat. And then the 7 is always just 1 down from your root from, so if we find A flat on here, our 7 is going to be a G. So that's a way of using the circle of fifths to build your chords. If you have this memorized in your head, this is going to go a lot quicker to build these chords. Another way of thinking of the circle of fifths as notes that's really helpful is if you're trying to harmonize a melody. So say I am trying to write something a fifth above or a fifth below in my melody. You can look here on either side, say my note is an E flat, you know that a fifth above is going to be B flat and a fifth below is going to be A flat, right? So that is just another quick way, if you're thinking about these as notes, to use the circle of fifths. And now, fundamentally changing, if we're thinking about these as chords, they're no longer notes now in our head, these are all chords, so this is a C major chord, G major chord, F major chord, so on and so forth. If we are in the key of C, our one chord is going to be a C, right? But a lot of the time in music, a really important chord is your dominant chord or your fifth chord. So if you want to find out really quickly what your dominant chord in the key of C is going to be, it's one tick over. It's going to be the G chord, right? And you can do that for any of these chords. So it's a really helpful writing tool when you are making music, to think about it as chords. And the next way to think about it that's really helpful is to think of it as keys. And this is really a nice way that it's all laid out here for you, because not only does it tell you how many sharps or flats are in each key, it'll tell you what they are as well. So if we start in the key of C, no sharps or flats, right? If we move over to G, this has 1 sharp, 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 4 sharps, 5 sharps, 6 sharps. Over on this side, it's going to be flats with the same thing, 1 flat, 2 flat, 3 flats, 4, 5, 6, all the way around. And how you find out what they are, in the key of G, we have 1 sharp, and it is an F. So when you're doing your sharps, you just keep one little space between the key that you're looking at, and it'll tell you what your sharp is. So for D, we have 2 sharps, and if you get rid of this one, you have C sharp and F sharp. F sharp and C sharp. And it'll do that all the way around this way. So if we're in A major, you have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And it'll go around like that the whole way. So if we're in E, you've got F, C, G, and D sharp. If we're in B, you have F, C, G, D, A. If we're in F sharp, you have F, C, G, D, A, and E are all your sharps in there. And if you would like to do it with your flats, let's go this way. Erase these guys. Say we're in F major, that has 1 flat. On this side, it's going to be the one just 1 tick next to the key that you're in. So our 1 flat in F major is B flat. Our flats in B flat, we obviously have B flat, but we're also going to have E flat. In E flat, we're going to have B flat, E flat, and A flat. So you just add. It kind of just stays 1 tick away the whole way around. And that is the circle of fifths for you, and a lot of really useful ways. Just to kind of recap, you can think of them as notes for building chords or harmonies. You can think of them as chords if you are writing a song and you want to find that dominant chord that really has that tension in your piece of music. It'll be the fifth. And if you think of it as keys, it'll tell you how many sharps or flats you have and what they are. Thanks for watching, guys.